Well, Sean Lennon with Pro Wrestling Enforcer. Now, for the first time ever, we are welcoming Trent Wrigley to the
What's up, my
PW.
dudes?
What's up, brother? Love
Not
it.
much, bro.
Well, welcome to the PWE Report, and of course, graduate of Freelance Wrestling Academy, and he is a member of the Freelance Wrestling roster. Make sure to check out this Friday. Freelance Wrestling presents No Ring Time for the Week. This was a
Yes,
scramble
sir.
match coming up. Yes, we can't wait to see you against Eye Candy Elliott, Alfredo Albater, Isaiah Velasquez, Trevor Outlaw, and Angel Escalera. And I'm excited to see you and Angel interact. I feel like you guys are on that same wavelength a little bit. The
Yeah, a
same
little
vibe.
bit. A little bit.
And we've seen you at Galli Lucha, Midwest Championship Wrestling, Third Coast Wrestling, We Luv Wrestling. If there's anything else I left out, you can let me know. But I think that covers almost everything.
No, I believe that's about every single one. If I missed one, it's probably in my
Okay.
head. I recently did Zawa.
Oh, okay, cool. Yes, that's right. You were part of the Zawa show that started in 2025, right?
That is correct. I was in the Hot Shot Rumble in that one, and even got to team up with Mr. Casey Jax against the
Nice.
Wild Raccoons.
Cool.
Suckers.
Well, hey, we appreciate you being back on or being on for the first time. And Trent Wrigley joining us on PW Report. And so my first question for you is, how are you doing, by the way? Hope you're
I'm doing pretty
doing
well.
well.
I'm doing pretty well,
Okay,
thank you. Kind of
no
just
problem.
chilling, but that's about it for me.
Now, your debut, I want to talk about your debut in pro wrestling. How has that changed your life for the better? We've seen you like kind of, be in the background, helping out at Freelance Wrestling Academy or freelance shows, being part of Freelance Wrestling Academy. But now that you solidify yourself as a full-time wrestler, how does that feel?
For me, it's changed my life for the better. Before I joined wrestling, I was kind of just going along my own on a straight path, but wrestling's kind of opened up my eyes to more for what can be out there. And even just helping out and even being around that crowd is something surreal. So just getting through that curtain and even getting a one-on-one match, even being in a scramble match is borderline amazing. Because it's completely backwards from how I thought everything would be not even 2 years ago.
Wow. And then how did you finally figure out how to be a part of professional wrestling?
It's a good question, honestly. For me, I've always liked comedy. Like the hugest things that I'll say I like is stuff like Our Truth segments, Sami Zayn and the Bloodline, Our Truth and the Judgment Day. But even just going based on comedy, I'm a huge comedic fan, so I like being a bit more chill, and that causes me to be a bit more funny. And it resembles a lot of what I like to do outside of the ring and just be me within there.
For sure. And then when did you come across the Freelance Wrestling Academy?
I came across the Freelance Wrestling Academy in August of 2023. Was was very curious about how it would go, was trying to put together how I would be in there. And then the second I got in there, I immediately had to change up my plan because I was not expecting wrestling to be the way it was.
Mm-hmm. You
Like,
mean, okay.
oh, after you.
Oh, I was just saying it was like the commitment.
Yeah, it was not just the commitment for me, but it was also the fact that it felt like a literal gut punch. And the
Okay.
second that I felt that gut punch, I was like, okay, I want to do this. I want to do this.
For sure. And you guys have a lot of great people that are in charge of the school that you work with,
Yeah.
like in the trainers. So how was that experience of being with the trainers? Were you familiar with them ahead of time or?
The only one I was familiar with prior was Brianna, and that's because years back, like 2018, I believe, I saw her at the second Warrior Wrestling show.
Okay.
So, and then I've just kind of seen her around the circuit throughout my time not in wrestling, and I've just been like, huh, okay. But my other trainers like Isaiah, GPA, I had no idea about until I got to freelance.
Interesting. Yes, they're quite dynamic as well. When you look at their bodies of work and how long they've been doing it, I can't
Yeah.
imagine. Like I only started like following them maybe like last 4 or 5 years, but like that goes way beyond that.
Like it's insane on how long people have been doing this too. So
Sure.
just seeing their experience throughout everything, it's something that makes me continue doing it, and it makes me feel a lot more comfortable in there than I would in a wrestling like amateur wrestling style mat.
Definitely. Hey, talk about when you saw Kylie Ray be announced for the WWID, and she said you knew her prior to starting on the Freelance Academy, and now she's WWID.
Like that's like if anyone in freelance deserves WWE ID, it is Brianna. It is Kylie Ray. She's one of the hardest workers I've seen. She's one of the nicest people I know, and just kind of going on to continue that. She's just been herself. And if you take a look at her, she's the most over person at freelance. Like she's the most over face out of anyone who's on the roster. And I
Yeah,
feel like WWE ID not have only have just picked up a huge signing, but I also think that with that it makes so much sense as to why.
I agree, and I can't wait to see that come to fruition as well. But we'll miss her if that does, because obviously with the WWE it's a huge commitment, and as you probably know more than anyone, it's the
Yeah.
ultimate goal, but the ultimate place, but you have to sacrifice, right?
Yeah, but if we're all being honest, she has earned it more than anyone, any wrestler that has had it so far. Yeah.
For sure. And then you've talked about your debut match. So at Freelance Wrestling Emporium in August, this was a pre-show match, so it was not advertised. Were you able to tell anyone about it, or was it one of those things you had to keep it close to your chest?
Kind of a bit of both. The night that I found out that I was debuting, the first person I immediately told was my dad. Like almost immediately when I got the news, I went up to him and I'm like, dude, and he's like, what? So a couple of people did know going into it, but when it comes to like announcing it publicly, I kind of kept that a bit more under wraps until it was a little bit closer to the show.
Okay.
Because because the way and how I saw the match was it should be secret, but once you see one of the opponents in it, that's when a lot of the hype comes up.
Definitely. Antonio Etzli was your debut opponent. So talk about being in that intimate setting, which is
Oh,
with the Emporium. And how were you nervous? I'm sure you were a little nervous, right?
yeah. Like I had borderline less than a month to get ready and mentally, emotionally, and physically prepare myself for that. But the hugest thing was the fact that I was going with Antonio. Even
Hmm.
though he made his debut a lot earlier within the year, me and him came up at the same time, making
Okay.
our first day at the same time, I think end of July, start of August. But being in there with him was nerve-wracking because he's a lot stronger of a dude. He's a lot more powerful of a dude. So I kind of had my work cut out for me, but I loved working with him. It was fun to bounce off who I was as a wrestler and as a
Hmm.
character with him, and he knew how to lay it in, which is something I was hoping for with that.
Definitely. Yeah, he's one tough hombre right there, man.
Yeah.
I just feel like anybody's in a that's a tough outing for anybody.
I mean, just ask the Tornado Kid. The dude still had the similar situation to me, dude.
Right. True, and Tornado Kid is someone that you got to go in the ring with in the Scramble match. Prior to that, have you done anything with Tornado Kid?
Believe it or not, no, actually.
Okay.
I've only ever seen him within Freelance. The closest we ever got was at Third Coast. We kind of had like a little food fight
Okay.
thing in between with like the entire Third Coast family. But I don't think me and him interacted once. I do know that I smashed a pumpkin over someone's head, so that was fun.
Nice, nice. Well, hopefully you'll have
But
that match with Tornado Kid. He just seems to be ready to go against anybody anytime. Would you like to face him at the Academy? But I was going to mention the Academy show later, but the Academy, Guardians of the Academy show.
for me personally, I would be all right facing off against him. I don't believe we're going to be facing off at the Academy show, though.
Okay.
And the only reason why I believe we could face is just for people to see me get an F20.
Nice.
But for me, just even being in the ring with Tornado Kid is a lot of fun, just because he's
Yeah.
fun to bounce off of.
Oh, for sure. He's very exciting, and we got to see him do a huge dive on top of you guys at the Scramble match too.
Dude knew how to jump too. Like, jeez. I don't think I've
How?
ever seen a tornado flip before,
Yes,
if you know what
I
I mean.
know. No, it was impressive. Like, wow, it was a highlight reel for sure. And now you're going back to Logan Square. Like this venue is so great. Like how was it for you getting ready for this prelude match, knowing you're in the ring with 5 other people, and you're all gonna really show out.
Very, very similar to the one at Emporium, but
Hmm.
there was a lot more nerves. I'm actually going to jump over to my first match with Blair, because that's
Okay,
when the nerves for Logan Square was like up to here. I had
right.
no idea how the people would be. I don't know if they would like me. I don't know if they would hate me. But the second I got out there, it all just kind of went away. And going back over to the Darren Corbin Invitational, just being around all those people, fellow students and Darren Corbin alike,
Hmm.
was something that was crazy. So just kind of preparing for that, I thought, if I'm gonna be out there, I'm gonna make sure that these people know who the local surfer is. And that's the mentality that I've been going into with the last couple of matches I've had.
Definitely, man. And then that was another fun match, very memorable. And yeah, like you said, you did get to do something with Blair on the pre-show as well. So you're probably happy that you had that kind of, I'm not saying it was a warm up, but that kind of match to gauge the audience. Then rather you're just going for the first time at Logan Square in the Scramble match.
Exactly, exactly. But even being with Blair, it feels comfortable being in the ring. Like, I don't know the right word to say it, but
Hmm.
being around Logan Square Auditorium in that ring makes me feel like I'm in practice. Like, it feels like night and day to me.
That's great. I think you naturally adapted to it, probably, right, over time.
Hopefully.
And now, what's your thoughts on your upcoming opponents in this matchup? You're going to be taking on Eye Candy Elliott, Alfredo Alberter, Isaias Velasquez, Trevor Outlaw, and Angel Escalera. We know that Trevor's been running his mouth. He's been talking a big game for 2025. This guy, does he rub you the wrong way?
If I'm being honest, he kind of does. Like, if I'm being honest, even just being running gear, like being the gear man, he's rubbed me the wrong way.
Okay.
But I don't let people go past me like that. Like, I don't let stuff bother me. I'm mostly chill. The
Hmm.
problem with him came at the end of the last show when he shoved me in a wall during a conversation with my bro Tornado Kid.
Right.
Like, that's just not cool, bro. Like, that's not chill. I thought we were all chill. I thought we were all bros on that, you know?
Yes.
So the
Well,
rudest is gonna face off against the chillest, and I'm just gonna surf my waves, man.
Yes, I can't wait, man. I made a little prediction. I said that. Watch out, Trevor. Wrigley's coming.
Hey, watch out, the waves are here, man.
Gonna go cowabunga on him. For sure. Yeah, and then listen, Trevor Outlaw is one of those guys that just needs to be taught a lesson and needs to be brought down a level.
And might as well let the most nonchalant guy on the roster do that, right?
Yeah, yes. I know you're ready to. You're prepared. You got a game plan, especially dealing with him.
Exactly.
Now, when the music hits and you are about to ready to go through that curtain, like what is the feeling through your body?
A mix of how I think a jellyfish would feel, like kind of a bit nervous, but also moving.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second that I hear the wipeout end, that's when something just flicks in my head, and I'm like, all right, it's go time, dudes.
Nice.
Like it feels like a buildup, and it's a buildup that I need to get ready for.
Mm-hmm.
And then once the buildup is done, that's when I'm here.
That's a great description of what you're doing it, because many people don't know. A lot of fans, I just always imagine my heck in the head. There's got to be some kind of nervousness, else you wouldn't be doing this, right?
Yeah. Hey, that just shows that you care about it. Being
Yes,
nervous is how much you care about this.
definitely. And so, we'll talk about the fan base that has grown in Locust Auditorium, and how much excited when they are doing chants and they're reacting to your moves, they're reacting to your taunts, your poses. How is that for
Oh,
you?
it is insane. It's a different feeling altogether. Like there's a huge difference when you're in a practice room and you're hearing people cheer for you, react to what you do,
Right.
and it gets you ready for it, but it doesn't get you ready for when you actually get it. Like after I did the coffin drop at the middle point of the last scramble match, when
Mm-hmm.
I heard the Surfs Up coming from the other side of Logan Square, like I almost shed a tear. It was crazy because
No.
I didn't expect that.
Right. Well, that's awesome, man. It's great you got such an organic response, and it's going to be one heck of a show coming up, of course.
Yeah.
And we had talked about Trevor, but what about your other opponents?
Ooh, okay. So going on more of my opponents, another person that I'm very excited to be in the ring with for the first time is Isaiah. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's been running his mouth. I've seen him on the outside of a lot of world title matches, and even just
Yes.
in the ring, he is rude. But that's what makes me excited for
Mm-hmm.
this.
Yes, for
Because
sure.
because you get to see it from, like, let's say I'm right here, I'm sitting, I'm watching the ring, I'm watching the action go on. Like it's a different experience being right there, seeing a brutal move happen, seeing him give a brutal drop kick or a hard punch. But for me, I want to see how much of that I can take.
I can't wait. That's
Yeah,
another great, like you said, you're gonna get in there with a guy who is a trainer, but he's rubbing people the wrong way, including yourself, including me. So let's get
like
after it, right?
I do my best to stay out of backstage stuff whenever it comes to like the bad
Right.
guys. But if they come across me, that doesn't give me right to just stand by and just let things happen.
Right, for sure. And
And oh, sorry.
I was just saying he's been running his mouth about me and my podcast as well. So I don't mind seeing him get what's
Got
coming
you.
to him. Thank you,
I
man.
got you.
And I know
But
it. I know he just likes to be mean and rude to everybody, you know?
yeah, and most of the time you can go your life just letting people like that roll off your shoulder,
Yes.
roll off your back. But for me, like the last time I was in the ring with a person in his group was Saban, and I gave him my glasses and he kicked me in the gut.
He's
So I
wow.
guess So I guess that shows me what I have to look forward to when it comes to Isaiah.
Yeah, yes, yeah, you got to be careful. And talk about Saban. Look at, can you tell us about Saban and Coda Hernandez? This is a lot of
I
build up, a
am
lot of history between these two. We didn't see this match coming, and now it's arrived for the legacy title. What are your thoughts? You've trained with both guys, and
my thoughts are simple and easy. These boys deserve this spot. Like one of them went down one path, the other one went down the other path. One of them let fame and power corrupt him. The other one let the fans bring him into the light and look at where he is now.
right.
And since he's in the light and the other one is not, this is going to be a match that I think is going to have a lot of hard shots, and I am
Oh yeah,
excited to see that one.
for sure. And that's what's one of the cool things is you guys have that like balcony you can stand and watch all the rest of the matches when you're done.
Yeah.
So,
And I've seen Ruben's had an impressive 2024, and even when I came in, when he was still, I don't know if he was heel completely or if he was slowly turning face.
right.
I came in when he was still feuding with Isaiah.
Mm-hmm.
So to see him slowly get the crowd with him and get that push towards the right direction is something that has come naturally and is something that has been amazing to witness. Just being around
Yeah.
that crowd, you feel all of it. And I
Yes.
felt so much passion from that crowd with him. And it's something that you can't replicate with a lot of people.
Definitely for sure. I can't wait to see that matchup as well. And then you had the other couple of opponents, Angel Escalera and I believe Alfredo Albiter as
Yeah,
well. We hadn't talked about.
both of them, I'm very excited to finally share a freelance ring with them. Angel, this is going to be the first time I've been around him in the ring, and just seeing how he's been within the ring, I am more than excited for this. He's
Yes.
fun, he's goofy, he knows how to strike when he's ready, and he knows how to fly as well. So let's see what happens when it comes time for that. But Fredo, last time I saw my dude Fredo, it was at Galli at Blue Island, and me and
Okay.
him were on the same side.
Nice.
So
Well,
there's a bit of love when it comes to him, but
mhm.
at the end of the day, it's every man for himself, and I wouldn't blame him if he tossed me out of the ring and pinned me.
Well,
Tossed
sure. You're
me
looking to,
down to the ring. My bad.
but and now you also have Eye Candy Elliott, so we can't forget about Eye Candy.
Don't remind me, bro. The last time I was with him, I thought I had it. I thought I had my first win at Emporium, and then not
Yeah,
only did he slam me on top of a tornado,
I
he
saw.
proceeded to knee me in the face.
Woo.
That was, listen, a huge thing about surfers is surfers surprisingly have a great memory, and I know one thing: I don't forget.
Right. Yeah, so you better watch out. You'll see that opening. He's not an easy guy to, you got to be careful how you approach him in that ring, right?
Yeah, he's very tricky. He's very
Yes.
sneaky. But now that I've had not one but two matches, wait a minute. This will be my second time with him. I
Yes.
think I can figure out his tricks.
Okay. Well, we look forward to seeing that. This is going to be a heck of a scramble match and a heck of a show. No ring time for the week. It's got everything that you want on a wrestling event.
There's pretty much everything that you can ask for. There's more action on here, and the hugest thing for me is just the simple fact that I feel like this show is going to get this year off to the right start that it needs.
For sure. Hopefully, it's with your hand being raised in that scramble.
Only
Reagan got
time
the
will tell.
Reagan Lydell. She won the last scramble match at the Darren Corbin Invitational. So hopefully, you can help her out in the future because she's got Darren Corbin and the other two guys that are with her. They're bad. They're up to no good.
And I mean, she could use. I mean, she could use a little bit of backup in that situation. I mean, with Darren Corbin, CJ, ooh, and surprisingly RJ Soa all banding together, it's kind of crazy to see all four of them in that situation. But
Hmm.
I feel like she could use some backup. I don't know
Yes.
if I would be involved in that, because if you remember, we were chill, and yet she
Yes.
still kicked me in the face.
Yeah, she did that spinning heel kick right to you, right?
Spinning heel kick, and I thought I was good. I thought I was good, and off go the glasses.
Yes. For sure. Well, yeah, it's going to be an interesting night, definitely. And when you look up at the business right now, like it's booming, professional wrestling. Like, how excited are you to go to different states? And who else do you look up into in the business right now?
Who else do I look up to in the business?
Yeah.
If I had to say who else, person by the name of Blake down at I believe New Texas.
Okay.
Dude was the person who trained Kylie, one of the people who helped train Kylie Ray, and he's just generally been one of the nicest people I've gotten to talk with. I've not seen him a lot down in Chicago, but whenever he comes down to Chicago, it is always a blessing to see him.
Okay.
Always positive, always supportive, always has a positive energy, and is very supportive. And on top of that, is to the point. And that's
Oh,
something that I've seen a lot of, and have been taking that wisdom to heart as well.
what's his full name?
Blake, I don't remember what his last name is off the top of my head.
Okay. Cool. Is he still wrestling or just
Yeah, he's
training?
still wrestling. He's still
Oh,
wrestling.
nice. Nice. Cool. Well, that's great. What wrestlers outside of freelance are on your radar right now? I know you go to Galli, you go to Midwest Championship Wrestling. Anybody there? Did you think, oh, I'd love to have matches with them?
In terms of locations, I want to go to Second Wrestling.
Okay.
There's a lot of people, familiar faces, and a bunch of new faces I haven't seen quite yet.
Hmm.
But if I had to say wrestlers on my radar, there's three. There's three on the top of my head, and just to make it a bit more interesting, I'm going to exclude people who are in the scramble.
Okay.
So the first person who's on my head is Rafael Quintero.
Nice.
He had a really good second half of 2024. And just seeing him at Galli shows, CSW shows, caught my eye. And I think it would be a fun back and forth with us.
Hmm.
Another person who's on my radar is a singles match against CJ Martin.
Okay.
Just strictly because that scramble match kind of opened up my eyes to more of what he could do. And I would love to share the reign with him, just the two of us. And the last person who is on my radar, they were just on my head. Got it. The last person who is on my radar is Ezio,
Oh, okay.
and
Nice.
that's mostly down to the simple fact that I'm a sucker for facing off against bigger guys. Like
Hmm.
if there's a person who can throw me, who can toss me, I want to go in there. And
Right.
if I'm being honest, I would be more open to run a match against Ezio because I know he can throw me.
Yes, we know he can throw people, not just throw them to the mat, throw them to walls at certain points.
Exactly.
I had to bring that up.
If
you
I'm
know.
being honest, that's the only reason why I put him on. Because honestly, I wanted to see if you would bring it up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I was right there. I was literally like next to the wall.
Dang, dang. But
Yeah.
I do feel like a match against Ezio would be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. I think so too. He's gotten better, and he's like you said, he's big and he's imposing. So why not?
And I don't see a reason why not.
And is there any advice for the pro wrestling trainees that want to make it? I'm sure there's new trainees that come to Freelance Wrestling Academy. So anybody listening that's a trainee in pro wrestling, what is your advice? Even though you're still young and you're still new in the business, what could you tell them?
If I had to say the best advice, and yes, we have gotten a bunch of new students too. So, as a little bit of advice for someone who's starting off in wrestling or is new to the circuit, stick with it, but know when your limit is.
Mm-hmm.
Know when you have to be stronger than you are, smarter than you are, faster than you are, but also know when you have reached that limit. Because once you go past that limit, if it's time for you to stop and you don't stop, there's more bad stuff that could happen.
Right. Well, that makes sense. You gotta kind of reel yourself in, right?
Yeah. Or
Certain
as I like
points.
to say, as Trent, life goes too fast. There's too much too fast, but you can
Mhm.
make it go your own pace, bro. Take your time, man.
Definitely. And describe Trent Wrigley and how
Trent,
close is this persona to you?
okay. So Trent Wrigley is about 50% close to how I am as a normal person.
Mm-hmm.
He is a laid back, chill, nonchalant guy who's more happy to go through life with a smile on his face. He is a bit dumb, admittedly, but as long as he has some nice waves in his future, he's gonna get up for the next day.
For sure, definitely. And you have a little bit of that experience in surfing, right? Or am I
A little
wrong?
bit. A little
Okay.
bit. Believe it or not, a lot of the wrestling stuff actually came from not just wrestling, but a little bit of the surfer stuff actually came from back when I did amateur wrestling.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because for me, it's a little bit of a similar thing if you look at it. You have to stay close to the board, you have to stay close to your opponents. You have
Mm-hmm.
to keep your mind right, you have to keep your mind right, but also at the same time, if you let it affect you too much, then that's when the match goes up in the air.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting.
That and also when it came to amateur wrestling, I was just relaxing. Like my face could be mad, but in my mind I'm just this.
Gotcha. That's cool. Well, hey, I mean, amateur wrestling is just totally different than what you guys do. So, sure, that transition is not an easy one.
Not entirely. Not
Yeah,
entirely. It makes it more fun though. It
it
makes it a
does.
lot more fun.
And and for sure. And for anybody that wants to check you out, make sure to tell them how they can find you on social media.
Social media, you can find me on Facebook at either Alexander McKay or Trent Wrigley. Trent Wrigley, you can find me on my Instagram page at Trent Wrigley 509. I wish I wrote this down, honestly.
No worries.
And similar thing to my Twitter, Trent Wrigley 509. But I believe that's it for my socials, actually.
Okay. Well, great. Hey, Trent, I appreciate you being on PWE Report, man. Glad to have you on. It was fun to get to know you. And I just need you to do one thing for me, do a quick shout out for the PWE Report. I'll stop this recording and I'll start a new one. Is that cool?
Heck yeah, that's cool. Seriously, thank you for having me on. It was a
Oh,
lot of fun,
well,
man.